you want to kick it off, or
Oh, go ahead.
Well, it's going to be tough to follow that last group of ladies and gentlemen. How about a round of applause for the group? My name's Ed Harris. I'm with Discover Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and I'm going to give a very brief elevator pitch for my destination. We're one of many clients at this point for Carvertise, and then I'll hand it over to hear about all the innovative stuff that Carvertise is rolling out, and then hopefully we'll have a minute or two at the end for some questions. Okay, so Discover Lancaster, Pennsylvania. We are a mid-sized destination. We welcome roughly 9 million people annually who spend just over $2 billion. During the pandemic, because of our geographic location, we did actually, like some of you out there, see an uptick in visitation, as our primary feeder markets for tourism are Philadelphia and Baltimore, which are about a 90-minute drive from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and that expanded a little bit to New York and Washington, D.C. During the pandemic. And so a couple of the things that we're known for, many people know us for our captivating Amish simple life neighbors. And if you were to visit Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, be prepared for some traffic jams behind horse-drawn buggies, which are still driving through the rolling green hills of our countryside. We're known for our dairy farms and our amazing ice cream. What else can I say? We have the largest indoor sports facility in the United States. We're the birthplace of Auntie Anne's Pretzels and lots of farm-to-table restaurants. And if you're ever visiting the East Coast cities, take a drive out to the countryside and visit Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So there's my pitch, and I'm going to show you really quickly how we worked with Carvertise, and it's great to partner with Carvertise because, like we were a few years back in 2020 during the pandemic, we were testing Carvertise, and it was new. And if there's anything I've learned since my days working for footwear and apparel brands, it's that people care about what's new, right? People care about what's new, especially the media. And so some of the cars driving around in Delaware caught the eye of some reporters, and we got some added marketing and PR from the press. You can go to the next slide. Here's a look at one of our cars. You can see on the front that there is a mask on the front of the car. Maybe, Greg, you can talk about where that idea came from, because that was not our idea.
Yeah, well, there was a pandemic, and so we thought, everyone's wearing masks, but they still want to advertise. So we were like, what if we put masks on cars? And that's what we did.
And if you can go to the next slide.
Yeah, sorry, it's not working.
Or I'll just keep talking, but it's hard to see in this picture, but it makes me crack up because in the creative is the picture of a horse and buggy. So on the side of a modern vehicle, it's kind of a interesting juxtaposition there. But you can see we led with something that makes us unique. And it was during the pandemic. It was during the late summer, fall period of 2020. And we got a great response to our website from those markets. And with that, I'm going to shut up and let Greg talk.
All right. I think I figured this out. So we started as this concept. It's very simple. Cars with ads on them. And it was just very basic of we pay Uber and Lyft drivers to wrap their cars in ads for DMOs. And we got some success. These are some examples of some of the clients we work with. But then they were like, hey, these cars are driving around. Can we then send them places? And that kind of started some new product lines, the swarm and targeted driving. So swarming is when you send a bunch of Uber-wrapped cars in your destination to a specific event during a course of the campaign. So this is in New York City at the Sports Illustrated fashion show. I believe a Kardashian was in one of these cars, which was very cool. And this is the commissioner. So we had 20 of these cars driving around the event, picking people up, promoting their destination in a very engaging and experiential way. This is a swarm in Chicago with Marco Islands, Florida destination advertising in the cold weather during the winter. This is our shout out to Delaware. At the New York Times Travel Show, they actually put the creative was visit their booth. So they wanted to get visitors who were going to the show, taking Ubers to get in there and saying, hey, come visit our booth. So actually has very good applications for like meeting planners and B2B events as well. And then the last thing is this has been very popular is we've been swarming NFL games. So this is the Eagles-Giants last year. And despite the acrimony, they could both agree that Cooperstown is a neutral party and is worth visiting. So a lot of actually of our clients are they're timing their campaigns with the NFL season, where every Sunday you might be in Baltimore or Los Angeles. They're going to go outside the stadium and drive in the stadium during those times. So you're getting like hundreds of thousands of people seeing your cars without having to actually sponsor, a big sports sponsorship. So that's the swarm. And then we added in something called targeted driving. There's a courtesy of David West Aquarium Cars. But this is just like, it's not really an event, but it's like, hey, let's send cars to a museum. Or let's send cars to a tourist attraction like Geno Steaks in Philly. So it's more of just like it was like a logical, let's go where tourists go. And this worked really well, by the way. So this is a case study. We have more examples where they saw, over 1,000% increase in web traffic and keyword searches using targeted driving. Then it was like, all right, so you got cool wraps, you're creative, but then where's the, how do you know it works? Where's the technology? And so we added technology. So we started tracking where every car drives. This is a coverage map of one of our campaigns in Chicago. So you get full market coverage. We added a service called Maptive, which allows you to actually zoom in on your campaign and see how much frequency was in the area. So this is like an interactive map. You can see the heat map of the locations of your cars and how often they were in certain zip codes and areas. Then we added digital retargeting, being able to capture device IDs of people who were exposed to the car, send them digital ads on their phone, and then we're actually also able to track web lift attribution. So we did a lot. But then our newest announcement, which is Placer.ai, which did a wonderful presentation before, has kind of, it's the next evolution where we're one of those, I'm not calling myself a visionary, but he said that we have visionary clients, and that's kind of how we're using it, which is different than normal people use it. So what we're doing is it's like backwards. So DMOs tell us what demographic they want to reach in what city, and we could identify the foot traffic of where those people go in a city. So this is an example of, let's say you wanted to target Seattle, the young professionals crowd. You can literally search on there happy hour crowd, and you could segment by income. So income range of 50 to 150,000, age 23 to 33. And you can search like type of place. So I search like restaurants, happy hours. And this gives you the top 10 places in Seattle where these people go. And so what you could then do, I know it's pretty creepy. What you could then do, though, is send your cars to those places where your audience is. And it doesn't just have to be like young professionals. It could be higher income individuals in a suburb. And it doesn't just have to be restaurants. It could be retail centers. It could be landmarks. So we're essentially just saying, where's the foot traffic of your target demographic? Where do they go? And we're going to send Uber cars into those areas, picking people up, seeing your message, and engaging with them. So this is just an example of how it would work. Client would say, I want to target Seattle. It's a great feeder market. We want to target young professionals. So we'll say, okay, we recommend X amount of cars, 20 cars. We recommend you swarm the Seattle Seahawks home opener because, 500,000 people will be in the parking lots. And then throughout the course of your 2 to 3 month campaign, we're going to send cars to these specific places that we know your demographic goes to. So it went from, I hope this works. Essentially, we added cool technology to a simple concept, and that's what I have to say.
Awesome. Okay, it looks like we've got 5 minutes and 33 seconds left if anybody has any questions.
5 minutes and 25 seconds left.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to remember in 2020, and I guess I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but we are doing our second campaign with Carvertise later this summer, where we are going to put a fleet of cars driving in the New England market, as during the pandemic we saw a lot of road trippers, as I mentioned earlier, from New York down to DC. So we're trying to expand that radius of road trippers while we can, until people want to travel overseas again from the United States in a big way. So Carvertise is going to help us hopefully do that. But the cost, that's a really important question, because being a mid-sized destination, one of the reasons we were drawn to it was the affordability. And I'm trying to remember the exact dollar amount we spent. Do you recall? I know you have a lot of clients, but I think it was in like the 15 to 20K range.
Yeah, it was in that range. A lot of our it's an important part of the process. How much does it cost? Most of our clients range anywhere from like 10 to 30 cars, and that'll get you anywhere between like 15 to 50,000 is kind of the range most of our DMOs use us in. Of course, we have DMOs that do a lot more than that, so we're not limiting it. But it just depends on like what you're looking for. If you're looking for multi-market, if you're looking to completely take over a market for 4 weeks, if you're looking for a branding campaign in one of your feeder markets, we're very customizable, and we have a lot of options. But we started with the Visit Delawares of the world, the Visit Bentonvilles of the world, like great destinations, but they're smaller. And as we've been in the industry, we're now working with the Visit St. Pete's and the bigger size DMOs. So we fit all different sizes and budgets. Yes. Yeah, so we don't own any of the cars. These are Uber and Lyft drivers. Maybe they're doing DoorDash, Grubhub, rideshare. Their primary source of income is driving, right? And so we're just saying, you're already driving all day. We can help you earn extra money. So you pay us. We find the drivers. We vet them. We interview them. Make sure they're going to be a good representative. Their car's in good condition, and then we pay them to get their car wrapped for the brand. And if anyone's ever been in a car with an Uber driver, they talk, and so we do is we give them travel pamphlets to hand out to the passengers that get in the car. With St. Pete, we actually did a QR code where they could scan to win a free trip to the destination. We've also done things where if you text a number, you could enter to win a free trip. So we try to make the drivers brand ambassadors as much as they can to some extent, but it's pretty interesting. We've had drivers we've selected in campaigns then decide to travel to the destination after having it on their car for a few months. They're like, yeah, I'm going to check out Bentonville. It's the mountain bike capital of the United States. So yeah, it's a win for companies, and we've paid out at this point millions of dollars to people who are just already driving passive income. So we're bringing. We've also done in-market activations too. If you're trying to get your population of Uber drivers in your destination to promote stuff going on internally, Restaurant Week or things like that, we've also done a lot of work in that area as well.
There's 1 minute and 32 seconds left. I don't know if anybody has another question.
Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you so much.